on duty now, and as proud of it as if he was a general. What do you say to me for a careful man as well as a devil of a one?' Mr Dennis exhausted himself in compliments, and then added, 'But about the expedition itself?' 'About that,' said Hugh, 'you shall hear all particulars from me and the great captain conjointly and both together. For see, he's waking up. Rouse yourself, lion heart. Put a good face upon it, and drink again. Another hair of the dog that bit you, captain. Call for drink. There's enough of gold and silver cups and candlesticks buried underneath my bed,' he added, rolling back the straw and pointing to where the ground was newly turned, 'to pay for it, if it was a score of casks full. Drink, captain.' Mr Tappertit received these jovial promptings with a very bad grace, being much the worse, both in mind and body, for his 2 nights of debauch, and but indifferently able to stand upon his legs. With Hugh's assistance, however, he contrived to stagger to the pump, and having refreshed himself with an abundant draught of cold water, and a copious shower of the same refreshing liquid on his head and face, he ordered some rum and milk to be served, and upon that innocent beverage and some biscuits and cheese made a pretty hearty meal. That done, he disposed himself in an easy attitude on the ground beside his 2 companions, who were carousing after their own tastes, and proceeded to enlighten Mr Dennis in reference to tomorrow's project. That their conversation was an interesting one, was rendered manifest by its length, and by the close attention of all 3. That it was not of an oppressively grave character, but was enlivened by various pleasantries arising out of the subject, was clear from their loud and frequent roars of laughter, which startled Barnaby on his post, and made him wonder at their levity. But he was not summoned to join them until they had eaten and drunk and slept and talked together for some hours; not, indeed, until the twilight, when they informed him that they were about to make a slight demonstration in the streets, just to keep the people's hands in, as it was Sunday night, and the public might otherwise be disappointed, and that he was free to accompany them if he would. Without the slightest preparation, saving that they carried clubs and wore the blue cockade, they sallied out into the streets, and, with no more settled design than that of doing as much mischief as they could, paraded them at random. Their numbers rapidly increasing, they soon divided into parties, and agreeing to meet by and by, in the fields near Welbeck Street, scoured the town in various directions. The largest body, and that which augmented with the greatest rapidity, was the one to which Hugh and Barnaby belonged. This took its way towards Moorfields, where there was a rich chapel, and in which neighbourhood several Catholic families were known to reside. Beginning with the private houses so occupied, they broke open the doors and windows, and while they destroyed the furniture, and left but the bare walls, made a sharp search for tools and engines of destruction, such as hammers, pokers, axes, saws, and such like instruments. Many of the rioters made belts of cord, of handkerchiefs, or any material they found at hand, and wore these weapons as openly as pioneers upon a field day. There was not the least disguise or concealment; indeed, on this night, very little excitement or hurry. From the chapels they tore down and took away the very altars, benches, pulpits, pews, and flooring; from the dwelling houses, the very wainscoting and stairs. This Sunday evening's recreation they pursued like mere workmen who had a certain task to do, and did it. 50 resolute men might have turned them at any moment; a single company of soldiers could have scattered them like dust; but no man interposed, no authority restrained them, and, except by the terrified persons who fled from their approach, they were as little heeded as if they were pursuing their lawful occupations with the utmost sobriety and good conduct. In the same manner they marched to the place of rendezvous agreed upon, made great fires in the fields, and reserving the most valuable of their spoils, burnt the rest. Priestly garments, images of saints, rich stuffs and ornaments, altar furniture, and household goods, were cast into the flames, and shed a glare on the whole country round. But they danced and howled and roared about these fires till they were tired, and were never for an instant checked. As the main body filed off from this scene of action,
and passed down Welbeck Street, they came upon Gashford, who had been a witness of their proceedings, and was walking stealthily along the pavement. Keeping up with him, and yet not seeming to speak, Hugh muttered in his ear, "Is this better, master?"
"No," said Gashford, "it is not." "What would you have?" said Hugh. "Fevers are never at their height at once. They must get on by degrees." "I would have you," said Gashford, pinching his arm with such malevolence that his nails seemed to meet in the skin, "I would have you put some meaning into your work. Fools! Can you make no better bonfires than of rags and scraps? Can you burn nothing whole?" "A little patience, master," said Hugh. "Wait but a few hours, and you shall see. Look for a redness in the sky to-morrow night." With that, he fell back into his place beside Barnaby, and when the secretary looked after him, both were lost in the crowd. Chapter 52.